We are here with Jerry Chen. I'm really excited to dive into his story. He's got a pretty amazing account on social media that he's created and a unique story that I think will inspire a lot of people. Well, where we aim to highlight inspiring people doing amazing things in the Swim Strong family and in the greater swim community. And we will dive into that. But first, we got to get to our rapid fire questions. Jerry, are you ready?
Yeah, ready as hell would be.
Here we go. What is your favorite candy bar?
Kit Kats.
What is your favorite post-meet meal? You're done with a championship meet. You get to splurge. Where are you going?
I usually would like a burger, but my want to recover well mine says like pasta.
If you're getting a burger, where are you getting it from?
Just the greasiest burger around, like local or McDonald's if I really have to.
There you go. There you go. That's what I was looking for. If you could meet any celebrity on the planet, have a dinner with them, who would it be?
Oh, geez, that's a hard one. Honestly, Caleb Dressel. Caleb Dressel's always been somebody I looked up to for so long.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. How about favorite swim venue you've ever been to?
IUPUI in Indy.
All right, there we go. Shout out Indy. Favorite cartoon character?
Cartoon character? Hell, I don't watch a lot of cartoons. I'll just say Mickey Mouse just to be generic.
There you go. There you go. Last one. If you are not a swimmer, what sport would you do?
I used to try when I was little. I did basketball, but I don't think I have the height for it now. So I would like to do track because I love like jumping and running and the athletic stuff. So
awesome. Track, yeah, it's pretty cool sport to watch too. The Olympics and swimming, the Olympics, swimming and track and field, I feel like get the most viewership. People love them.
Yeah.
And now we just got to get those sports a little bit more traction.
Exactly.
Not just every 4 years. So
yeah,
Jerry,
exactly.
You did a great job with the rapid fire there. We'll go ahead and jump right into your story. So if you could share just a brief background of yourself and kind of your story of getting into swimming up to this point. If you could give people just kind of like a 2-minute, hey, here's a snapshot of how I got from into the sport to where I am now.
Yeah. So for those who don't know me, I run the swim account Jerry Swim, and I'm from Pittsburgh. I grew up in Pittsburgh, swim at Pitt. Currently doing my graduate degree at Pitt and still swimming. I got into swimming mostly just because my mom wanted me to be water safe. I remember my first time I went into the pool, I actually almost drowned.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I must have been like five or six.
Yeah, that's
and
scary.
Luckily it was in the shallow end. So, and there were people around me. So I actually pulled on someone's like shorts to like get myself up, and I thought it was my dad, and it was just some random guy. And I pulled his shorts down to get up. But after that, yeah, my mom started having me learn to swim, and I actually failed like all of my swim classes, but my mom just like kept putting me in the next one.
Okay.
Until I got to the swim team, and for some, like I felt like the class before swim team was harder because the tryout was just like a 25 freestyle. But after I started competing like that, I was like hooked. I mentioned during the rapid fire, I played a few other sports, but not seriously. Like I played a little bit of basketball, like at the gym with my dad.
Okay.
Like maybe one class. But once I started swimming, like that's the only sport I kind of did ever since I started. I think summer league at 7, and then started club swimming like the summer right after, and watched like Michael Phelps.
That's awesome.
Do those 2008 Beijing.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah. But like basically swam all my life. Just clicked with me. High school, I was fortunate to train with some really strong guys: Ricky Mim, Jack Wright, Mason Gonzalez, Andrew Zhang, Lloyd Borsov, like that big group of guys at North Allegheny. I wasn't a part of it, but it was cool watching them break like the national high school record in the 400 freestyle relay, and back in 2018. But part of me like knew that I wanted to be great at swimming, and seeing that they could do it, like I knew that I could do it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So going to college, I wasn't like super highly recruited. Like I was recruitable. I think I
Mm-hmm.
was 56'3" and 205 in the two breast.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so definitely not like terrible, but not like, I don't think I should have been like D1 other than Power Five if coaches did not come see me practice and see
Yeah,
my
give you an
acting.
opportunity and see your
Yeah,
potential.
yeah. So I actually passed up on a full academic ride to Georgia Tech
Oh wow.
to go swim at Pitt for a pretty small scholarship because I knew I believed in myself, and I knew I would regret it for the rest of my life if I
Hmm.
didn't give this a shot. And
Wow.
I think it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, that's cool. I appreciate the snapshot kind of up to college. And I want to dive into some of the things you're doing now is really where um, I want people to kind of follow what you're doing, follow your account, follow the stories that you share, and kind of all the different things that you've gone through in your swim career. Um, but can you talk a little bit about? We'll get back towards your experience in college, but can you first share a little bit about why you decided to start the account that you did and all the social media content that you're creating? What led you, drove you to make that decision? To because it's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort. You're
Yeah.
doing multiple graduate degrees that you told me about right before the call as well, and still swimming. So what made you want to make that social media account?
Yeah, so I think I made it maybe like my junior year of college, but I never really like posted anything. It was, I think, maybe NIL started in, I think, like 2022, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is around. So I just made it just for the whim, um, see like what happens. I never took it seriously until I like posted a few reels, I think December of my senior year. And they didn't do too great. So I thought, like, it's not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my friends, Nick Mahabir,
Mm-hmm.
he did pretty well. He runs also another Instagram, Nick Ma, and
Another
he,
great breaststroker.
yeah, great guy, great guy. But he motivated me. He told me, like, like, you just gotta stay consistent. Like, if I can do it, again, kind of like the same mentality in high school. Is like, if I can do it, you can do it. Like, you just gotta
Mm-hmm.
stay consistent, post it, and he gave me a lot of tips and feedback on the stuff I post. So from there, I started just decided to post daily of trying to put out my like the lessons I've learned from swimming.
Yeah.
So I think swimming has given me so much. I don't think I would be where I'm at today without swimming.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like the academic degrees I'm pursuing and stuff, like I definitely would not have the work discipline, and I want to share that. I think one quote I always share on my, I always say, and I share on my Instagram, is like, swimming's not just about swimming. It's
Mm.
so much more than that, and there's so many life lessons through the sport, and I wanted to share that with people.
That's
So
awesome. I love that heart behind it. I think a lot of times you see social media accounts that, of course, you want to grow and make an impact and have an influence, but there's some that you can feel like the heartbeat behind it, why you're doing it, and genuinely wanting to impact people in a positive way and give back. Is what I feel when I'm looking at your content, and it's just a lot of life lessons that you've learned that you're sharing with the next generation of swim athletes with things that you've gone through. I am curious. You said you passed up a full ride scholarship for academics to have a small scholarship to swim.
yeah,
What about swimming made you make that decision? Because that's a huge financial decision.
yeah. Uh, my parents were not happy. It was actually like between that, like, that was all actually like a big rift, like a big argument. We obviously made up since
Yeah,
then.
yeah,
It's just like during going through that process was very tough.
yeah.
But I think a big thing was just one of the reasons why they were willing to do it is because they knew how much I loved swimming.
Hmm.
I had friends in high school who parents would try to get them to not swim, and they actually made them quit swimming because they wanted them to focus on school.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents were always very like, go for something you love, and they like, it's kind of weird because growing up, my parents had like a very definitive like academic plan. Like
Yeah.
once you're in freshman year, like you're going to take these classes, and then by the time junior year, you're going to take these AP classes. And my sophomore year, I at the end of that, like the summer, I got I think my first winter juniors cut my sophomore summer. And I told my parents, like, the junior year is an important year for recruiting. Like back then, you could only talk to colleges like much later on. So junior year was like you set the times and then you talk to
Mm-hmm.
colleges. But I told them, like, I want to go for this, and they let me take an lighter academic load than I usually had planned. But I kind of the reason why I did is just, yeah, I knew the potential I had. I knew the work ethic I had, and I wanted to see that through. I told them, I remember telling them, like, I think it would be, again, like one of my biggest regrets if I never saw the how far I could take it. If I never knew if I could go to Olympic trials, like go to ACCs. Obviously, I didn't get to go to NCAAs. I missed out on qualifying, but there's those big goals, and I want to go for them.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's awesome. I feel like taking a risk like that and betting on yourself is essentially what you did. Is like, I'm all in on myself and something I know that I can be great at, and or at least I want to give myself a chance because I believe I can do something phenomenal here that will inspire others, and as well as like prove to yourself like what you can do. And like you said a little bit earlier, swimming is not just about swimming. That translates to everything. So being willing to take that risk and say, you know what, it's not about the money for me. It's about doing something I love and seeing if I can accomplish a dream that a lot of people would be too afraid to do and might never reach. That I imagine that will carry into every sphere of life long into your career and the rest of, whatever stage of life you're in. We hope you're enjoying this week's podcast. We want to take a quick break to shout out our sponsors. Resistance bands are a must-have for dryland. Elite Athlete Power Band kits are designed to give you a cost-effective way to improve performance and reduce the risk of injury. These high-quality kits last longer and are versatile enough to provide total body workouts anywhere, anytime. The levels of resistance are ideal for progressing youth athletes without weight increases that are too large. Go to the link provided on the Swim Strong Dryland website, click on the Training tab, and search Equipment Suggestion Lists and get your Elite Athlete Resistance Bands today. Attention all high school and club swimmers and divers. Are you ready to take your talents to the next level and dive into the collegiate scene? Look no further than ACC Recruiting, your premier destination for college swimming and diving recruitment education. At ACC Recruiting, we specialize in connecting student athletes with the perfect collegiate programs that match their skills and academic aspirations. Our experienced team will guide you through the recruitment process, providing personalized support every stroke of the way. Don't let your dreams sink. Visit ACC Recruiting today and make a splash in your future. Dive into success with ACC Recruiting, where champions are born. Visit our website now or call us at 314-518-8844. That's 314-518-8844. ACC Recruiting, your gateway to collegiate swimming and diving excellence. Can you talk a little about your college career? And you took that bet on yourself, right? So how did that turn out for you? What was that journey like in college, and some of the impact of taking that risk?
Yeah. So I remember my first couple months of freshman year. I actually thought I was going to quit because it was so hard. My club team, with it being so successful with our group of guys, we didn't do a ton of yardage. It was a lot of like quality work. So going into college training, experiencing a lot more heavier levels of like aerobic training, threshold training, and that stuff. It was a completely new environment. And I also never lifted so consistently. I had done lifts, and I had always paid attention to like technique, which I think is the most important thing to focus
Yeah.
on in high school.
Yep.
But I just wasn't used to lifting like 3 times a week plus swimming. I only done like once a week.
Yeah.
So I remember thinking to myself, like, man, like every week here is like Christmas, like a week.
Were you
And
like,
then
what did I get myself into?
yeah, yeah. And I really thought like maybe, maybe I wasn't cut out for college and maybe I'm not good enough. Because at that point I was thinking to myself, like, I'm lucky to just be here. I never expected to ever swim in college. And I'm fortunate to have the opportunity. But I remember talking to my roommates. Their names Stephen Hopta and Dominic Toledo. And they were both on the swim team as well.
Okay.
And they kind of pushed me. It's like, just keep going. Like one more month, get through November. And I didn't know this at the time, but October is always the hardest part. It's like Rocktober is, I think, what Eddie Reeves calls it. And once you get to November, you start to come down. So it definitely was a challenge getting through it. But once I got through that cycle and I started coming down, like I started to see the fruits of my labor. And I actually dropped a ton of time in the beginning of the season and then not a ton at midseason. And then I won my biggest breakthrough was I won my first college dual meet swim with a best time faster than my midseason, 4 seconds faster than my previous best time coming in, and just like a suit.
Wow.
Right after Christmas training.
Wow.
And I just remember talking to the coaches and it's like, yeah, that's like the biggest thing is like just consistency. Like that's the best thing you do is just like day in, day out, best effort. Like no matter how tired you are, you're giving your best effort. And somehow the times are pretty similar. I'm fortunate enough to be able to train that way. So yeah, after my first year at college, I went from 56.3 to 205 to 54.3 and 158.
That's huge.
Yeah. So I think I was the only freshman to score that year. So going from being lucky and not knowing if I was going to make the ACC team to scoring was a huge jump for me. And that's when I kind of thought that I could do this thing. I can.
That's awesome.
I deserve to be in college. I can go for Olympic trials. Fortunately, COVID happened, so that was another extra year. But I think that first year really instilled the belief that with enough hard work, put your mind to it, like you can do anything. And I carried that through all this time. I think now I'm 52.6, 154 breaststroker. Long course, I'm 102, 214.
That's awesome.
And huge drops in all of those. I think coming into high school long course, I was 105 and 223.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Massive drops. And trials.
Yeah.
Trials times in was it the 2 breasts?
Yeah, 2 breasts recently, and then I was 100 in 2021.
And 100 in 2020. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty incredible story going from not highly recruited, no big scholarships offered, taking a huge risk, almost quitting because it was so challenging in ways that you didn't necessarily expect. But then you had people around you who helped support you, and you took it sounds like kind of one day, 1 week, 1 month at a time, and just keep stacking wins. And then the belief came after consistency of doing those things to see what you're capable of. And I think that's really, for anybody listening, I do think that just stacking wins, taking things one day at a time, giving yourself just more and more opportunity to show yourself what you're capable of. Because once you quit, like there's no more opportunity, right? But if you keep going, then there's plenty of opportunity. And now it's crazy hearing that story, that being your freshman year, and now you're, essentially swimming pro as a graduate student, still swimming, still training at a super high level, and you just consistently gotten better. I'm sure the road has been like this, not just a straight up. But talk a little bit about the journey so you had a killer freshman year, and then like kind of the next few years, what did the journey look like for you? And mentally, how did you see yourself maybe grow or change from a mental perspective?
Yeah. So I think again, I was pretty lucky to one. I think I wasn't at my peak in high school. Like I wasn't anywhere close to it, obviously, but I had the mentality every single year by year to like make sure you review what you did, find one area that you can do better, whether it be like attitude, effort, reviewing your races, technique, um,
Mm.
and focus on that for the next year. And I think writing that stuff down and keeping track of your progress in that area is probably one of the biggest things I did because I had a pretty uh, not linear, but like I consistently improved every single year in college. I've hit a best time every single year since that freshman year,
That's awesome.
uh, and I'm lucky to have had that. But also, I think it comes down to reflection and that hard work.
Mm.
I think mentally, I will say like back then I was definitely a little bit more gung ho and less about recovery, if that makes sense. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, like no matter what, like I want to get going, and I used to beat myself up if I don't go good times,
Mm. Hmm.
because I was like, you should be the guy who should be able to go times, like no matter what, no matter how tired you are, you should go like a good time. And now I'm realizing at the higher levels, like that's a little harder to do without. So definitely starting to learn to give myself a little bit more grace and
Mm.
always trying to give context and learning to like manage those high expectations of myself
Oh,
throughout
that's
these
good.
years.
Yeah, mentally, I feel like giving yourself grace is super important because swimming is the sport itself doesn't give you any grace, right? Like there's
Yeah.
no, times can be brutal sometimes, and looking at the scoreboard can be brutal, especially when you're training in season and or just not feeling your best. And so that's a huge lesson for everybody to give themselves a lot of grace, but also you mentioned the recovery side too. Just like I do think it's a really nice. There has to be a really nice balance. It's a really good mindset to be like, I'm giving 100% every day. The 100% might look different with what I have in the
Yeah.
tank, but the best that I can give each day, um, and that is a great thing. But then I do think sometimes we can like push ourselves so hard that it's like, hey, your body's actually asking you to recover a little bit today, or
Mhm.
like, hey, you don't uh, the weight that you used a couple days ago or last week, it's your body's not in the same condition today. So maybe we focus on a little bit lighter, move really effectively, uh, perfect technique type of thing, and do some extra recovery work or whatever. But I think that is a skill acquired and a mindset, like a kind of a maturity thing over time, that you're like learning to understand your body, like always needing to push because you need to push yourself out of your comfort zone, but also understanding when like it's actually not helpful to push.
Yeah.
There are those days, right? And
Yeah.
typically,
Yeah.
yeah, most people fall on the side of being lazy and not pushing through
Yeah.
discomfort, but there are the people who have a like mindset like yours that
Mhm.
sometimes like, let me understand recovery a little bit more so that I
Yeah.
can give my body. Is that something you feel like that you've grown in a lot?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I've put a lot more emphasis on recovery these past few years. I've gotten a Whoop, I think, since 2022, and I've
Nice.
learned that like my sleep used to suck. Like I would like still try to sleep a lot, but like the quality of sleep is also so important,
Hmm.
and that has helped me a lot to cut. And I've improved it so much.
What
So
have you done to improve your sleep quality? What are some things that you've changed?
yeah, so a big thing is I drink cherry juice every single night,
Nice.
um, and so I know that's like antioxidants, and I think it's a precursor to melatonin. I'm not a big fan of taking melatonin, but more like natural because I think eventually you build a tolerance up to
We
it.
love the
So
tart cherry juice. Yeah, it's like a
yeah,
much more natural way to
yeah,
do it, to get it from a kind of a whole food source, so to speak.
yeah. And then I also done quite a bit of meditation before, like I go to sleep, like or like visualization of my sleep. Um, it's funny because I live with my girlfriend, so like sometimes when we're falling asleep, she'll like feel me like twitching super strong, and I can like kind of match it up because I like it's like because I'm like trying to do a breaststroke turn, and I jolt in bed. So that meditation, like visualization, like it's funny because you think like racing in your mind would get you more excited, but
Yeah.
like it helps me fall asleep sometimes. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah,
So more of just like a little bit of changes in like your nutrition, and then also a wind down routine. So mentally, what
yeah,
you found what works for you to get into that state of calming you down. And for some people, meditating, like visualizing their race, might not work, but at some sort of meditation, visualization,
yeah.
mental relax, whatever it is for you, I do think that having
Mhm.
a routine, and then also just signaling to your body different things like nutritionally, or making sure it's dark in your room. Some people,
Yeah,
gunners.
that was also one I was going to mention. Is like I used to not worry about like the blinds. Now I'm like I have to have this like pure darkness.
That's good. No, that's really good. Well, to kind of finish up here, I want to ask just a little bit about the kind of end goal of kind of all that you're now giving back, putting into your social media account, trying to teach life lessons from your journey and all the things that you've been through. Um, what's been kind of what's kind of the goal with it, like moving forward? Like, how far do you see yourself going with it? What type of impact are you looking to have? Is the first part of my question.
Yeah, so I think I'm not really sure how far I'll go with it. I think I'll keep going as long as I still enjoy
Mm.
teaching people and still enjoy, which I imagine will probably be a long time
Mm-hmm.
because I think my career end goal is like I want to be a swim coach one day,
Okay.
or like a strength coach. So it'll probably be a while before I stop. I think. What was the second part of that question? Sorry.
I just asked the first
Yeah,
part. Yeah, I was just curious how
yeah,
long you were thinking about doing it. The other part of it was kind of more related to your swim career. How long do you think you'll go with your swimming? If that'll be something
yeah.
you'll also do long term, pro or masters, or if this will be like, hey, once I'm done, I'll be focused fully on my career and the coaching side, or do you think you'll swim, for the long term as well?
I think I'll also be swimming for the long term. Yeah. Uh, like I didn't take. I was talking with an old coach that I knew back then when I was little, and he's watched me growing up. And he was at the Masters meet I just did this past weekend, and he was like, "It's really cool to see you come out of college and immediately like go to Masters because usually there's usually like a break
Mm,
for a lot of people because it
yeah.
is sort of a grind, but." The way I see it is I've always enjoyed training. I sometimes struggle to love racing and love the nerves and the excitement because of the expectations upon myself.
Mm-hmm.
So racing at these kind of like lower stakes meets, like it's fun,
Yeah.
and I'm starting to learn like to enjoy the sport without pressure and expectations and
That's
just
awesome.
enjoy my time.
That's awesome, man. I feel like that is the key behind everything you're doing, is just a genuine love for the sport and a passion for helping people and educating. The swim coaches out there, take note. Jerry's wanting to get into swim coaching, so someone's looking for a phenomenal inspiration to the next generation of athletes. That's a good hire right here. uh,
Thank you.
yeah, of course, man. A little plug too. I hear you're also, you have some swim caps that you are now getting into a bit of the merch business.
Yeah, so I'm always learning, and one of the things is I'm currently learning like business sides of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like I'm computer science for my master's and sports science for my master's as well.
Yeah.
So I'm just doing kind of like a small pre-sale for my brand. It's inspired by my tattoo. If anyone's like watching,
Oh, that's cool.
it's a dragon. It's cut upside down right now, but that'll be on a cap. There's an exclusive like gold hydrofoil version of it, but
That's sweet.
otherwise it'll just be Arena 3D caps, so good quality as well.
That's sick. What's the inspiration behind the tattoo?
Yeah, so my family, both my parents are from China, so this is
Mm-hmm.
like a Chinese style dragon,
That's awesome.
and they're historically they're like by the lore they're related to like the water, and they symbolize wisdom, power, and transformation. So I kind of
That's cool.
wanted to do it to kind of remind myself of who I am, my identity, and as well as remind myself like life is about learning and trying to be the better version of yourself every single day.
That's awesome. Man, I really appreciate you taking time to come on here, share your story, share your wisdom. I appreciate all that you're doing for the swimming community, and I'm really excited to continue to follow your journey and see how you continue to make an impact on myself and many, many other people around the world who are a part of this amazing, beautiful swim community. It really is a tight-knit group that at the end of the day, like, it's all about, you know, what we can give back and leave behind and the impact along the way. So really appreciate everything you're doing and for taking the time to come on here, man. Thank you so much.
No, yeah, thank you guys. Like Swim Strong Dryland, like I love the content you guys put out, and the same with like the mindset and everything, nutrition tips and weightlifting and dryland is a big part of my programming. So I appreciate the good messages behind that stuff too.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. We'll see you soon. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch a new episode each Monday. You can also check us out on social media at SwimStrong Dryland. If you would like to join the SwimStrong family, visit our website at swimstrongdryland.com.